Most people think power is something you show. They're wrong. And if you've ever felt like people don't take you seriously enough, this is exactly why. Machiavelli, the most dangerous mind in 500 years of human history, discovered a secret so unsettling that kings kept it hidden. Enemies never saw it coming, and the entire world forgot it existed. Real power is not what you display. It's what you protect. It's what you withhold. It's what you never let them see. And right now, today, without even realizing it, you are giving your power away, not to your enemies, not to your competitors, but to random people in public. Every single day, there are 7 behaviors, quiet, human, completely normal, that are silently bleeding out your authority, your mystery, and your control. You think they make you relatable. Machiavelli knew they make you weak. He warned about these behaviors 500 years ago, and somehow the whole world still hasn't listened. If you already knew Machiavelli was built different, drop a 500 in the comments right now. Keep watching, because by the time this ends, you'll never carry yourself the same way again. Never complain in public. Let me ask you something honest. When was the last time you heard someone complaining loudly in public and thought to yourself, wow, that person is powerful? Never, not once in your life, because something happens the moment a person starts complaining in front of others. Something invisible, something that shifts the entire dynamic of how people see them. They stop being a mystery. They stop being a threat. They become something far more dangerous to themselves, someone who needs something. And the world, people, opportunities, rivals, they all respond to that signal the same exact way. They pull back their respect, quietly, permanently. Machiavelli understood this deeper than anyone. He watched rulers fall, he watched powerful men crumble, and almost every single time the collapse didn't start with a battle or a betrayal. It started with a word, a complaint, a public frustration, a moment of leaked pain. Because when you complain in public, you are not just expressing emotion, you are broadcasting 2 of the most fatal weaknesses a person can ever show. The first weakness, I have lost control of my situation. The second weakness, I am waiting for someone to rescue me. Both of those signals are poison. Pure, slow, invisible poison. Power attracts people who can endure pain without announcing it. It attracts people who can be on fire on the inside and look completely calm on the outside. People who seem like nothing touches them. People who seem like they were built for whatever storm is coming. That is the identity you need the world to assign to you. But the moment you complain publicly, even once, the world starts rewriting your identity. You are no longer the composed one, the dangerous one, the one people are slightly unsure about. You become the one who struggles. And once people decide you struggle, they stop fearing you. They stop respecting you. They start seeing you as someone they can handle, someone they can push. Someone who won't push back because they're already too busy dealing with their own problems. That is the trap, and most people walk into it every single day without realizing it. Now here is what Machiavelli would do instead. He would feel the pain, every bit of it. He was human. He knew frustration. He knew betrayal. He knew what it felt like when things fell apart and the world seemed unfair and unjust. But he would never let the public see it. He would absorb it privately. He would channel it quietly. He would turn that frustration into fuel and let it burn in a direction no one could see until the results were already undeniable. Because that is what separates the powerful from the powerless. Not the absence of pain, the mastery of where that pain is allowed to appear. Endure in silence and people will start watching you differently. They'll notice that nothing seems to shake you. They'll wonder what you know that they don't. They'll wonder what you're planning. They'll wonder how bad things really have to get before you finally react. And that wonder, that uncertainty, is where your real power lives. So the next time something goes wrong and the words start rising in your throat and you feel the urge to let the room know how unfair this is, stop. Breathe. Let the moment pass. Walk away with your composure completely intact. Because the most dangerous person in any room is never the one complaining the loudest. It's the one standing quietly in the corner, absorbing everything, revealing nothing. Comment silent if you've been giving your power away without realizing it. Never expose your insecurities in public. Here is a truth that will change how you speak forever. What you admit about yourself in public, people begin to believe about you. Not sometimes, not occasionally. Every single time. This is not just psychology. This is human nature running at full speed. People are not analyzing you with logic and fairness. They are taking shortcuts. They are using the fastest available information to form a picture of who you are, and that picture gets locked in permanently. So when you say, even casually, even jokingly, I'm not really confident, people file that away. When you say, I'm not sure I'm good enough for this, people adjust their expectations of you downward. When you say, I always struggle with situations like this, people make a mental note that says, handle with care, low ceiling, limited potential. And here is the truly terrifying part. Once people form that picture of you, they stop looking for evidence that contradicts it. They start looking for evidence that confirms it. So even when you perform brilliantly, even when you handle something with grace and precision, a part of them thinks, that was lucky, that was a good day, but we know who they really are. They told us themselves. Machiavelli understood that appearances don't just influence reality. Appearances create reality. This isn't manipulation. This isn't pretending to be someone you're not. This is understanding the fundamental truth about how perception works and refusing to hand people a weapon they will absolutely use against you. Think about the people you consider truly powerful, the ones with real presence, the ones who walk into a room and something shifts. Did they get there by volunteering their weaknesses? Did they earn that presence by listing everything they weren't sure about? Absolutely not. They earned it by holding their frame, by standing in their uncertainty without advertising it, by letting the internal chaos remain completely invisible behind external composure. And that composure, that unreadable stillness, is what unnerves people, not because it proves they're perfect, but because it refuses to confirm they're not. So here is what you do instead of exposing insecurity. You practice what Machiavelli called strategic ambiguity. When you don't know something, you don't announce the gap. You say, I have something in mind, and then you say nothing else. When you're unsure, you don't fill the silence with self-doubt. You hold eye contact, you breathe slowly, you let the pause do the work. When someone challenges your ability, you don't rush to defend or explain. You look at them calmly and respond as though the challenge itself doesn't quite deserve a full answer. Because the person who holds their frame under pressure doesn't look insecure. They look like they know something you don't. And that uncertainty, that gap you've left in people's understanding of you, that is where your authority grows. Your insecurity is yours to carry privately. Your public frame is a weapon. Never confuse the two. Drop frame in the comments if you're done letting people see the cracks. Never announce your plans in public. There is a particular kind of person you have definitely met before. They sit across from you at dinner. They lean forward with excitement. Their voice gets louder, their hands start moving, and they tell you, in beautiful, detailed, passionate language, everything they are about to do, the business they're building, the move they're about to make, the opportunity they've found that no one else has seen yet, and they feel incredible in that moment. They feel seen, validated, supported. Machiavelli would sit across from that person, smile politely, and file every single word away, because that person just handed over their entire map. Here is what most people never realize about announcing plans in public. It doesn't build momentum, it destroys it. The moment your plan exists in someone else's mind, two dangerous things happen simultaneously. The first, people feel no urgency to support you. Why would they? You're already moving. You're already excited. You're already on your way. Their support suddenly feels optional, and optional support almost always becomes no support. The second, and this one is far more dangerous, the people who want to see you fail now have a roadmap. They know what you're building. They know your timeline. They know your direction. and now they have everything they need to quietly position themselves between you and your destination before you even take your first real step. Machiavelli watched this happen to rulers, generals, and merchants again and again throughout history. The ones who announced got blocked, undermined, or stolen from. The ones who moved in silence arrived. There is something else that happens when you announce plans publicly that nobody talks about. Your brain gets tricked. Studies in modern psychology, and Machiavelli saw the human version of this centuries earlier, show that when you tell people about a goal, your brain registers a small hit of satisfaction as if you've already achieved something. And that satisfaction, it quietly reduces the hunger that was driving you. You spoke the plan. The plan feels partially real, and somewhere deep inside, the urgency drops. That is the invisible tax on every plan you announce before it's done. So what did Machiavelli do instead? He moved, quietly, precisely, without announcement. He let his actions arrive before his words. He let his results speak first, and by the time people understood what he had built, it was already finished. Already too late to stop. The rule is simple: announce nothing, build everything. Let the results be the reveal. When people ask what you're working on, smile, shrug, say something like, "Nothing worth talking about yet," and then go back to building. Because the most powerful thing you can do right now is let people underestimate the size of what is coming. Let them think you're quiet because nothing's happening, when in reality, you're quiet because everything is happening. Type "Silent Builder" if you're done announcing and ready to just arrive. Never take public sides in petty conflicts. This one is going to challenge something you believe about loyalty, because most people think that taking sides publicly is a sign of strength, of character, of standing for something real. Machiavelli thought it was one of the most expensive mistakes a person could make, and here is why. When you publicly insert yourself into someone else's conflict, even for the best reasons, even for someone you genuinely care about, you are making three trades that almost never work in your favor. Trade 1. You gain an enemy you didn't need. Someone who had nothing against you before now has a reason to work against you. Not because of anything you did directly, but because you chose a side in their fight. Trade 2. You form an alliance built on emotion instead of strategy, and emotional alliances are the most unstable structures in any social world. The moment the emotion shifts, the alliance collapses, and now you've paid the price of an enemy without keeping the reward of a friend. Trade 3, and this is the one Machiavelli considered most dangerous. You reveal your values before you have the power to protect them. Think about what that means. When you publicly show what you care about, what you'll fight for, what you'll sacrifice for, you hand every opponent in the room a targeting system. Now they know exactly where to press to get a reaction from you. Now they know what to threaten when they want to control your behavior. Now they know what story to tell about you to make you look like the villain. You gave them all of that, freely, in public, because you couldn't stay neutral in someone else's argument. Machiavelli's approach was coldly different. He watched conflicts, he studied them, he let people expose their loyalties, their weaknesses, their blind spots. He gathered intelligence while everyone else was busy choosing teams. And then, when it served his purpose, he moved. Not based on emotion, based on position. Public neutrality is not cowardice. Say that again to yourself. Public neutrality is not cowardice. It is the preservation of future influence. It is the protection of your options. It is the discipline to let other people burn their bridges while you keep every road open. The person who stays calm while others fight doesn't look weak. They look like the only person in the room thinking clearly. And in every conflict, in every group, every workplace, every social circle, the person thinking clearly while everyone else is emotional, that is the person who ends up with the power. So the next time drama erupts around you, and it will, resist the pull. Watch. Remember. Say nothing publicly that you wouldn't say in front of every side simultaneously. Let the conflict play itself out. And when the dust settles, you'll still be standing, with all your alliances intact. Comment N neutral if you're choosing strategy over drama from today. Never show hunger for attention in public. There is a scent that powerful people can detect from across a room. You can't see it, you can't name it in the moment, but you feel it immediately. It's desperation, and nothing, absolutely nothing, destroys public presence faster. Now, desperation doesn't always look the way you think it does. It's not always someone begging or falling apart. Most of the time, it's far more subtle than that. It's the laugh that comes just a half second too fast before the joke is even finished, because you want them to know you're engaged, you're fun, you're worth being around. It's the story you tell just a little too loudly with just a little too much detail, because you need the table to think you're interesting. It's the constant, barely conscious glance around the room, checking if people are noticing you, if they're impressed, if they're still watching. It's the approval seeking dressed up as confidence, and people feel all of it, even when they can't articulate it, even when they would never say it out loud. Their subconscious registers the signal and sends back a verdict. This person needs something from me. And the moment someone decides you need something from them, they own you. Machiavelli believed that psychological need was the most dangerous form of dependence a person could carry in public, because it hands power to whoever is willing to give or withhold the attention you're chasing. Your enemies don't need to defeat you when you're already standing in a room performing for their approval. You've already handed them the victory. So what does the opposite look like? It looks like walking into a room and genuinely not needing it to go a certain way, not performing calm, not pretending indifference, actually carrying yourself like the outcome of this room. Whether they like you, whether they're impressed, whether they include you, simply does not determine your value, because your value was never theirs to assign. When you walk in like that, composed, unhurried, completely self-contained, something in the room shifts. People can't categorize you. They can't figure out what you want, and what people can't figure out, they cannot dismiss. They keep watching, they keep wondering. They start moving toward you instead of waiting for you to come to them. That is the power of withdrawal. That is the power of needing nothing from the crowd. Machiavelli called it controlled absence of hunger. The less you visibly want the room, the more the room wants to give itself to you. So enter quieter than expected, speak less than expected. Let the silence around you feel intentional, and watch how fast people start competing for your attention instead of the other way around. Type enough in the comments if you're done performing for rooms that don't deserve your energy. Never break under public pressure. Here is a moment every single person reading this has experienced. You are in public, there is tension. Someone challenges you, accuses you, contradicts you, maybe even embarrasses you in front of others, and everyone is watching. What happens next? In that exact moment will do more for or against your reputation than almost anything else you will ever do in public. Because public pressure is not just a challenge. It is a test, and most people fail it, not because they explode, though that happens too, but because they do something far more subtle and far more damaging. They leak. The voice gets just slightly tighter. The breathing becomes just slightly shallower. The eyes shift just slightly faster. The posture drops just an inch or two. Nobody consciously notices any single one of these things, but everyone subconsciously notices all of them. And in that moment, without a word being spoken about it, the room makes a decision about you. This person can be pressured, and once that decision is made, it travels. People talk, people test. People push again in future moments because they already know the door has a weakness. Machiavelli called public composure under pressure the single most visible display of real power a person could ever demonstrate. Because anyone can be confident when things are easy, but the person who stays completely still when everything is on fire, that person looks like they were built differently. That person looks like they knew this was coming. That person looks like they're already 3 moves ahead. And here is the beautiful thing about this. You don't have to actually be 3 moves ahead. You just have to look like nothing was unexpected. The pause before you respond, the slow, deliberate breath before you speak. the absence of any expression that says, "This is getting to me." These are not natural reactions. They are trained responses, deliberate physical choices that completely rewrite the narrative of the moment. Because when you absorb a hit, publicly, visibly, without flinching, something happens to the person who threw it. They start to question themselves. Was that not as damaging as I thought? Does he know something I don't? Why isn't she reacting? What is happening here? Their certainty begins to crack. And in that space, that silence where your reaction was supposed to be, your power quietly doubles. You become a psychological landmark, a fixed point that others measure themselves against, the presence that people start adjusting around rather than pushing against. So the next time the pressure comes, and it will, don't defend, don't attack, don't rush to win the moment. Just stay still. Let your composure be the loudest thing in the room, because the person who never visibly breaks is the person nobody ever truly wants to fight. Drop you unbreakable if you're choosing composure over reaction from this moment forward. Never over-explain yourself in public. You say something, someone in the room reacts. Maybe they question it, maybe they push back. Maybe the crowd goes slightly quiet and you feel every eye shift toward you, and the panic sets in. The words start coming, fast, layered, defensive. No, what I meant was, let me clarify, I wasn't saying that exactly. What I was actually trying to express was, you might have misunderstood the point I was making, and in the space of 30 seconds, you have done something Machiavelli considered one of the most catastrophic mistakes a person could make in public. You surrendered the frame. Because here is what over-explaining communicates, whether you intend it or not. It says, your reaction to me matters more than my confidence in what I said. It says, I need you to approve of my words before I can stand behind them. It says, I can be moved, I can be shaken, I can be pressured into retreating. And the crowd, even the people who are on your side, register that signal and quietly update their picture of you. Not a leader, not an authority, someone who needs the room to agree with them. Machiavelli never explained himself publicly, not because he was arrogant, not because he didn't care about being understood, but because he understood something fundamental about how power and narrative work together. The person who explains is reacting. The person who redirects is leading. When someone questioned him, when someone demanded justification or clarification or defense, he would look at them with complete composure and offer one of two responses. Perhaps you misunderstood me, or perhaps you understood me perfectly. Read those again. Both responses do something extraordinary. They take the pressure which was pointed directly at him and redirect it back toward the person asking. Now they have to think. They have to question whether they reacted correctly. They have to figure out which of the two possibilities is true. And while they're figuring that out, Machiavelli has already moved on, already controlled the next moment, already remained the author of his own narrative. That is the power of refusing to over-explain. Your silence after a controversial statement doesn't look like guilt, it looks like certainty. Your refusal to soften your words doesn't look like stubbornness, it looks like conviction. And your calm in the face of someone demanding an explanation doesn't look like avoidance. It looks like someone who already knows the explanation isn't owed. So the next time you feel that panic rising, the urge to flood the room with clarification, pause, take one breath. Hold the frame, and if you must say anything at all, say less than you think you should, because the person who controls how much they reveal controls how much power they keep, and the person who needs no one's approval to stand behind their words, that is the person the room never forgets. Comment "my from" if you're done explaining yourself to people who were never owed an explanation.